In the early hours of June 25, 1950, the peace of the Korean Peninsula shattered. 90,000 North Korean soldiers, backed by Soviet training and equipment, surged across the 38th parallel, beginning a war that would reshape Asia and the world. But the roots of this conflict stretched far deeper. After World War II, Korea, once a single independent nation, was divided by the victorious Allies. The Soviet Union occupied the North. The United States controlled the South. What was meant to be a temporary boundary hardened into two opposing states: Kim Il-sung's communist North Korea and Syngman Rhee's anti-communist South Korea. Two governments, two ideologies, and one peninsula locked in a dangerous rivalry. When the North invaded, their advance was overwhelming. Seoul fell within 3 days. South Korean and American troops were pushed all the way back to the Pusan Perimeter, a final defensive corner in the far southeast. Defeat seemed imminent. Then, the world intervened. Under the flag of the United Nations, 16 nations, led by the United States, came to South Korea's defense. Their counterattack would become one of the most daring military operations of the 20th century. On September 15, 1950, General Douglas MacArthur launched the Inchon Landing, an amphibious assault behind enemy lines. It was a risky operation: extreme tides, narrow channels, and heavily defended shorelines. But it worked. North Korean forces were caught off guard, their supply lines shattered. Seoul was retaken within weeks. UN forces pushed north, crossing the 38th parallel. For a moment, victory seemed close, but another giant stepped into the war. As UN troops approached the Yalu River, the border with China, hundreds of thousands of Chinese volunteer soldiers crossed into Korea. They struck with overwhelming force, launching night assaults accompanied by bugles and human wave attacks. The UN armies were thrown into a massive retreat. The most legendary battle of this phase occurred at the Chosin Reservoir, where surrounded US Marines fought in temperatures as low as -30 degrees Celsius. Frozen weapons, frostbite, and relentless attacks turned the battle into a hellscape of ice and fire. Yet the Marines broke out, famously declaring, "We're not retreating, we're just advancing in another direction." By early 1951, the war settled into a bloody stalemate near the original border. The mountains and ridges of Korea saw trench warfare reminiscent of World War I. Battles for places like Heartbreak Ridge, Porkchop Hill, and Bloody Ridge cost thousands of lives for just a few hundred meters of ground. Both sides committed severe atrocities. Mass executions, torture, and civilian massacres scarred the peninsula. Entire villages were destroyed. Families were torn apart. Many never reunited. Peace talks began in 1951 but dragged on for 2 years, deadlocked over prisoners of war and political recognition. Meanwhile, soldiers continued to die on hills that changed nothing. Finally, on July 27, 1953, an armistice was signed. Not peace, just a ceasefire. The fighting stopped, but the war never truly ended. The Korean Peninsula remains divided by the demilitarized zone, one of the most heavily fortified borders on Earth. More than 2 million civilians and over 1 million soldiers died. Cities were reduced to rubble. Families were split across a border that still exists today. The Korean War is sometimes called the Forgotten War, but its consequences are impossible to forget. It solidified the Cold War, shaped Asia's future, and left two nations permanently separated, one democratic and prosperous, the other isolated and militarized. And even today, the echoes of 1950 still shape global politics. a reminder that this war, though often overlooked, never truly ended.